All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin as the rain intensifies here. I want to welcome everyone to the town of Yorktown's 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony. I want to begin, before we have the colors presented, by acknowledging the many dignitaries who are here. We have the Yorktown Town Board. We have Deputy Supervisor and Town Councilman Tom Diana. We have Councilman Ed Lachterman, Councilman Luciana Howitt, and Councilman Sergio Esposito. We have with us our Highway Superintendent, Dave Paganelli. We have with us our town justices. We have Justice Gary Raniola and Avia Cohen Pearson. We have our town clerk, Diana Quast. We have our deputy town clerk, Maura Wiesletter. We have the president of the John C. Hart Memorial Library Board, Kathy Ritchie. We have with us former town supervisor, Linda Cooper, who under her administration produced this wonderful memorial here in Yorktown. I also want to recognize, and we'll be hearing from him shortly, former Judge Sal Agonia playing taps. Thank you, Judge. And we have our former Highway Superintendent, Eric DiBartolo, as well. This doesn't get put on without a lot of help from our great Town of Yorktown staff. And I just want to recognize my executive assistant, Jenna Belcastro, Kira Brunner, and Robin Steinberg. I also want to thank Rob Alfano from the Parks Department for setting everything up here today, and Tom Ciangela for being the best government access producer we can find in the Hudson Valley. And last but not least, we have a number of first responders. We're going to welcome the Yorktown Volunteer Fire Company shortly. I also want to recognize and thank what I believe is the best police department in the state of New York, led by the best police chief in the state of New York, and that's Chief Robert Noble, over here to my right, and the entire Yorktown Police Department. If we can give everybody a round of applause, please. And with that, I do want to, again, thank everyone for joining us, and I'm going to ask that our Boy Scout Troop 174 present the colors. Thank you very much. And I'm going to have a 9/11 first responder from the town of Yorktown, EMS Chief Jackie Sullivan, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Jackie, please.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, for liberty and justice for all.
Jack Sullivan, a phenomenal first responder, member of the Yorktown Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you for your service, Jackie. We've had a change in the lineup. Officer Garcia, who usually does the national anthem for us, couldn't be here, but we do have Nicole Salazzo to sing the national anthem. Nicole.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great job. Thank you, Nicole. And for our invocation, we will invite Rabbi Yuda Heber of the Chabad of Yorktown. Rabbi, please.
Thank you. As we have the blessings shower upon us from above, we gather today to commemorate the most tragic day in world history, September 11, 2001. We remember the beloved victims who lost their lives, and we pay tribute to the heroes who bravely sought to save others, many losing their own lives in the process. More than 2 decades later, we are still reeling from the brutality and injustice of it all. The evil it took to perpetrate the crimes of 9/11 boggles the mind. The only thing that could have motivated the terrorists to commit such crimes against humanity is hatred. Pure hatred. Hatred of freedom, hatred of democracy, and of so many of the ideals we hold dear. Wanton, simple hatred. When reflecting upon the events of 9/11, it is this hatred that we must combat. It is this hatred that we must eradicate. What is the remedy to wanton hatred? The Lubavitcher Rebbe of righteous memory answered this many times with clarity and certainty. Unconditional love. Raw, cold-blooded hatred can be matched and combated only with pure and undiscriminating love and acts of kindness. Love and acceptance of each other that crosses divides and builds bridges. May we always remember the virtue of being a nation united. Perhaps we are of different minds, but we are of one heart in our quest for a world of safety, peace, and acceptance. Terrorists willingly gave up their lives in their hatred. Let us be willing to sacrifice our comfort and pleasures in order to help another human being, with at least the same determination and passion that fueled the events of 9/11. Every one of us can make a difference. A small group of terrorists turned our world upside down. Let us not underestimate the power of each of us to turn it upright again. Every good deed, every expression of kindness and love combats the forces of evil and helps make our world a better and safer place for our children and communities. Adon Ha'olamim, Master of the Universe. Today we remember the victims of 9/11, those who died in the attacks, those who gave their lives saving the lives of others, and their bereaved and mourning families. Shelter the souls of the dead under the shadow of your wings, and give strength and comfort to the living, courage to those who fight terror, and wisdom to leaders of the world, that they may guide us to walk in the ways of righteousness and peace. Almighty God, who created all humankind in his image, teach us to remember the sanctity of life, the evil of terror, and the danger of a world filled with violence. Help us honor the words of the prophet. Do we not all have one Father? Did not one God create us and be with us in our work, our hopes, and our prayers for a world of justice, compassion, and peace? And let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Heber. Now I'm going to ask Councilman Lachterman. You've got Kevin. Okay. Councilman Lachterman will be presenting a wreath on behalf of State Assemblyman Kevin Byrne. And Councilman Diana, and Councilman Diana will be presenting a wreath on behalf of the town of Yorktown. Today, we gather once again to mark the anniversary of the deadliest attack on American soil. Today, 21 years ago, 2,996 people got out of bed, kissed their loved ones goodbye, and never came back home. Today, 21 years ago, these innocent people were murdered by radical Islamic terrorists in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. For many of us, we remember every detail of the events that transpired 7,665 days ago. We remember the fear in the voice of coworkers telling us to turn on the TV. We remember the grief in the face of teachers trying to stay strong for their students. We remember the utter disbelief as those towers fell, spreading toxic dust and pure panic through the streets of downtown Manhattan. We remember the pain on the phone, hearing a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister, a friend, a neighbor did not return home. For some, no time will heal the emotional wounds that were inflicted on that clear blue morning. For some, the passage of 21 years allows for stories to be shared, memories to be told, and smiles produced by reminders of happier days before. But for everyone who can remember that earth-shattering morning, today is a reminder of what was taken from us, a reminder of what pure hatred is capable of, a reminder about how precious life truly is. Our town has gathered annually and pledged to never forget. Last year, for the 20th anniversary, we added this beautiful mural by Chris Rios to our 9/11 memorial. This is a visual reminder of our collective commitment to never forget. We also introduced the 9/11 Flag Garden at Town Hall, where the youth of our community place one flag for each life lost. And I want to thank once again my good friend Jackie Sullivan, who came to that event this year to speak to the kids about what he witnessed 21 years ago, as well as the days and weeks and months that followed. This year, the town board has commissioned an addition to Patriot Park that will recognize the service and sacrifice of our soldiers during the War on Terror. This will serve as a reminder of our nation's overwhelming response to the attack that took so many lives 21 years ago. The Pew Research Center did a national poll a year after the 9/11 attacks. Of those surveyed, 97% said they can recall precisely where they were or what they were doing when they heard about the attacks. More than 60% said they felt a greater sense of patriotism as a result of the attacks, and there were high levels of displayed patriotism, including flags, bumper stickers, and signs throughout our nation. It's easy to say, we will never forget. But as time passes, the connection and possibly the commitment wanes. Yes, we remember the lives that were taken, but do we as a nation and as a community remember why they were taken? In the last 21 years, our world has changed completely. Cell phones, social media, and 24-hour news have altered how we interact, communicate, and connect. We have created labels to define everything and everyone. And in some cases, we've even created labels for the labels. Today, on this 21st anniversary of the devastating attacks on our way of life, we should remind ourselves and educate a younger generation that the terrorists who murdered 2,996 innocent people did not target them based on political affiliation. The terrorists did not choose people based on the color of their skin, their place of worship, or the language they spoke. The terrorists who carried out the attacks in 9/11 had one target: the fabric of America. I hope that we can all agree that America is really one big, and at times, dysfunctional family. At times it may seem that we cannot agree on much, or anything at all. But we are bound together by an exceptional bond. When we open the history books and look at what our American family has accomplished, it becomes clear why we are seen throughout the world as the city on the hill, the beacon of hope. Our accomplishments, and yes, they are our collective achievements, are not identified by modern-day labels that cause division. They are accomplished by Americans, members of our family. It was the American Wright brothers who introduced the world to flight. It was the American Henry Ford who introduced the world to a car. On July 16, 1969, 3 Americans landed on the moon. It is our accomplishments as Americans that set us apart from the rest of the world. And it is our American resolve that propels us and this world forward. As time advances the anniversary of 9/11 to a new generation, I hope this day is used as a reminder for us all to protect and advance the only label that it matters: America. I submit to you today that by honoring our great country and protecting our national family, we in fact honor those we lost 21 years ago simply because they were Americans. Here in Yorktown, we had 5 Americans taken from us, and we remember them today: Patrick Dennehy, Simon Dedvukash, Paul Fiore, Alan Friedlander, and Barry McKeon. As time has passed, we have learned about the health impacts of the poisonous dust that infected our brave first responders. We know more people have died from 9/11 related illnesses than were killed 21 years ago today. Heroes like Detective Mike Houlihan, who unknowingly, yet willingly, put his life on the line to help America during her darkest days. So this year, as we stand here and recommit ourselves to preserving the memory of those we lost, let us also come together and celebrate the bond that connects us all, a gift that each of us is entrusted to protect and preserve, the gift of America. May God bless the victims of September 11th. May He hold close and heal our heroes who continue to battle the effects of 9/11 illnesses. And may He continue to watch over, protect, and bless the town of Yorktown and these great United States of America. Thank you. I want to thank the Yorktown Rotary Club and our town clerk, Diana Quast, for helping us with the candlelight vigil. We're going to pass these out. If we can have the troops, the Boy Scout troops, if you guys want to take these and pass them out. some more over here. And as those candles are distributed, I want to invite and welcome Pastor Chris Chantelot, Grace Lutheran Church, for our benediction.
Thank you, Supervisor Slater. It is an honor and a privilege to be here to close out the ceremony today with a benediction. Let us take a moment of silence in remembrance. And now may we know the blessing of an abundance, safe, and productive life. May we know the blessing of the hope and opportunity and individuality of liberty. May we know the blessing of security and abundance, all that is necessary to pursue happiness in this great land. May we know the wise and just governments which will prosper and protect us. May we know the blessing of communities which come together in times of need, which come together in times of grief, which come together against injustice, which come together against our common enemy, and which come together to represent and to be citizens of this great United States. May we indeed go out now with true and enduring peace.
I'm going to invite Nicole Salazzo back to the podium for Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Awesome. That's me every time. Great job, Nicole. And we will end today's ceremony with taps by Judge Sal Lagonia. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us and upholding Yorktown's continued commitment to never forgetting 9/11. Judge Lagonia. Thank you, Judge, and thank you again, everyone, for coming out. May God bless the town of Yorktown. May God bless our troops, our first responders, our police, our fire, and our EMS, and may God continue to bless the great United States of America. Thank you very much.